deals with COVID cases. NC State football tweeted, "Heartbroken to not be able to compete one more time this season. We were informed a short time ago that our opponent would be unable to play this evening." UCLA also tweeting out a statement from the athletics director saying, quote, "We are deeply disappointed for our young men in the football program that worked extremely hard for this opportunity. My heart goes out to them. The health and safety of our students will always be our North Star," end quote.
The other big story that we are tracking today, it's got a lot of people talking, also related to the pandemic. The CDC is recommending shorter isolation periods for people who test positive for coronavirus.
Under the new guidelines, anyone who tests positive for COVID-19 and is asymptomatic can leave isolation after 5 days. Now that's down from 10. But the CDC says those people should still continue wearing masks. CDC officials say this follows growing evidence the virus is most infectious in the 2 days before and 3 days after symptoms are observed. Dr. John Sanders with Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist says these changes aren't political but show the CDC is making its decisions based on data.
And we have long known that quarantine was set at a conservative level, that most people had long passed a period of infectiousness, but we were still quarantining them. So the CDC recognizing two things: one, that they could shorten it up and not put public health at great risk is important. And two, recognizing that many businesses, hospitals and stores and restaurants and everywhere need the guidance to be able to maintain their workforce.
The CDC loosened quarantine guidelines for people not vaccinated or anyone eligible for a booster. Anyone not vaccinated or boosted that's been exposed can quarantine for 5 days, then wear their mask for an additional 5 days. If that person cannot quarantine, they can wear their mask for 10 days after being exposed to the virus. Again, that's only if you're exposed and unvaccinated.
I am tracking a shocking increase in one of our state's coronavirus metrics today. The latest percent positive is 21.9%. It's all the way here at the end. It's the highest percent positive the state has ever reported, even higher than the numbers we were seeing during our highest peak about a year ago. I've circled the last 8 days as well. If you can go back to that so I can show you. It's the 8th day in a row that this number has been in the double digits. Today's number is 4 times the state's goal of 5%. Again, here is the high one that we've had, and then the next graphic is the one that I'm meaning to show you. It means that 1 in every 5 tests is coming back positive.
Health leaders have said this Omicron variant is more contagious than Delta or the original COVID-19 strain. Dr. Mandy Cohen stated there could be a possibility of more breakthrough cases. And we've heard President Joe Biden press people to get vaccinated so they won't spread the virus. Our Verified team explains if this new variant puts vaccinated people at higher risk of spreading to others.
President Joe Biden and his administration are ramping up plans to combat a new wave of COVID-19 cases because of the Omicron variant. That includes the president doing interviews with local TV stations to encourage Americans to get vaccinated. On December 16th, he spoke with a station in Dayton, Ohio about people who are unvaccinated and said, quote, "How about you make sure you're vaccinated so you don't spread the disease to anyone else," unquote. The clip quickly went viral with almost 1 million views on Twitter. So let's verify. Can vaccinated people spread COVID-19 to others? Our sources are the White House, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and the World Health Organization. Last week wasn't the first time Biden has made claims that vaccinated people don't spread the virus. He also said it at a CNN town hall in July and again in October while explaining the rationale for a healthcare worker vaccine mandate.
If you seek care at a healthcare facility, you should have the certainty that the people providing that care are protected from COVID and cannot spread it to you.
However, that does not align with guidance from public health officials. The CDC explains, quote, "People with vaccine breakthrough infections may spread COVID-19 to others," and specifically said vaccinated people who get the Delta variant can spread the virus. And it expects vaccinated people who get Omicron to do the same. The WHO also warns of the same risk, especially with new variants that are more transmissible. The CDC and WHO say being vaccinated does help reduce the likelihood of someone spreading COVID-19, but it does not eliminate the risk entirely. So it's true, vaccinated people can spread COVID-19 to others. The White House has repeatedly tried to walk back the president's remarks, including after his interview in Dayton.
What I know and what the president believes is that we have to listen to the science, we have to listen to our public health officials, and that's what the president believes.
Duke University will now require all faculty and staff members to get their COVID booster shot to continue their careers. Faculty and staff have until February 1st to prove they received their booster or 28 days after they become eligible. Anyone who does not follow the new rules or is not exempt will receive a final warning and be placed on administrative leave. They will then only have 1 week to get their booster, and if they fail to do so, they could lose their job or not be offered for rehire.
The fire burning near Grandfather Mountain today has doubled in size over the past 24 hours, now at about 700 acres. The U.S. Forest Service says some of that growth is from firefighters mapping out the perimeter to contain the fire. Firefighters say flames are now moving downhill from Timber Ridge to the south and east. The fire is still just 20% contained. No homes or buildings are threatened right now. Firefighters are hoping for a good rainfall to help contain the flames.
Great news for recovery efforts at Pilot Mountain. Friends of Sourtown Mountain reached its goal of 300 special license plates. The plates recognize Pilot Mountain as a national nature landmark. With 300 plates sold, the plates will generate $6,000 per year for Pilot Mountain State Park. The True Lion Foundation is covering the cost of each plate for the first year. Earlier this month, a wildfire burned more than 1,000 acres of land on the mountain. Crews were able to contain the fire and reopen some trails to the public.
All right, time now for your 4 to 5 roundup. First up, Greensboro Crimestoppers is upping the reward for information on a man's murder a year after he died. Someone shot and killed 23-year-old Aaron Smith outside the Exxon gas station on Gate City Boulevard. There's now a $5,000 reward for information that leads to an arrest. The man caught on camera appearing to kidnap a woman in Charlotte appeared in court today. Lewis Meadows is charged with kidnapping and assault. A Ring doorbell caught the crime and helped lead authorities to Meadows. Police said Meadows and the victim knew each other and the attack was a domestic violence situation. A 14-year-old in Charlotte is accused of shooting a police officer while attempting to break into cars. He's now charged with attempted murder. That officer is expected to be okay. Officer body cam footage revealed the moments before a bullet hit a girl in a store dressing room in Los Angeles. Officers responded to the store where a 24-year-old man attacked multiple customers. Officers went into the store and fired 3 shots when they found the suspect. One of those bullets ricocheted off the floor and into a wall where a 14-year-old girl in a dressing room with her mom. The suspect died. The condition of the girl is unclear.
You know, we're looking at temperatures for today across the region, and this warm spell is going to stick around for at least another day or so, and we're a little unsettled over the next several days. Now we'll see these clear skies give way with clouds building in. We've got partly cloudy skies heading into the night tonight, 59 for that overnight low. One thing for tomorrow to note, the temperature, 72 degrees, well above our normal, which should be in that upper 40s, low 50s range. And then you look at mostly cloudy skies, late day shower building in, but winds are going to be a little bit of a problem. Southwest 10 to 15, but gusting to 25. Anytime we see those southwesterly winds, obviously that's bringing in a little more heat into the area. It'll warm us up a bit. Look at the satellite and radar across the area. Yeah, here comes the rain. It's scattered. See how just generally unsettled it is. Not a sharp cold front coming through, not yet at least. That could happen by the end of the weekend. But you're looking into this now, and it's just kind of a scattered shower or two. We are in the warm sector with winds around that high pressure ridge coming in southwest. That'll keep us rather warm. Then the front, even though it fizzles out a bit, there are a couple of systems that skirt just to our north, and it keeps us unsettled for at least a couple of days here. Here's what the 7-day looks like, starting with tomorrow, that 72-degree high, 30% chance of a late day shower. It's a 50-50 shot on Thursday, and we hover in the upper 60s, close to 70 through New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. You'll see that warmer weather and a chance of rain again, 50-50 shot for Saturday, Sunday. Next week, sunny and cooler with highs only in the 40s. So we've heard about this lately, Come From Away. That's the latest Broadway show running at the Tanger Center this week. Yesterday, Stacy talked about a local woman who was part of the actual story that resulted in the play. But did you know there's a North Carolina tie in the touring Broadway show? Here's part of my conversation with North Carolina native Jeremy Woodard. Jeremy, thanks for taking time out, man. You guys are hustling all over the country these days. Talk about this show for people that aren't familiar with Come From Away. What's it all about?
The best description I heard of this show, someone said it a couple weeks ago, actually, and I was like, oh, that's it. You know, it's easy to say the show's about September 11th. It involves September 11th. It's a story about what happened on September 12th, is how they like to put it. So it's a small town up in Newfoundland called Gander, and it's what happened on the day that September 11th was happening. This small little town that has this giant airport. All the planes got diverted there, so this town of 7,000 people all of a sudden has to take care of 7,000 strangers. A story of human kindness and how we all can be in times of distress, and how we should be.
You and I were talking before we started recording. Give me an example of how you guys are hustling across the country all the time. What's the schedule like?
I mean, the way it normally works is we travel on our day off, which is Monday. So our day off doesn't really feel like a day off because we're scooting around an airport and getting to the next city. And then we start Tuesday night and we do 8 shows. So normally the schedule is like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night, 2 shows on Saturday, 2 shows on Sunday, get up Monday and fly to the next city. Sometimes they'll change that around and do like a matinee on a Wednesday, and then you have 1 on a Sunday, so you have more time to get to the next place. But it's just go, 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 man. Tour life can be hard, but it's fun, and we're just glad to be back after this past year and a half.
All right, so I hear that you are from the Triad originally. You have to tell our folks about that. That's pretty cool.
I was born in Greensboro. Yeah, Moses Cone was my Greensboro claim to fame, and my grandmother lived there for many years. There was a water park. I don't know if was it Water Country USA or
yes.
She lived right near there, so we would always go visit and go to the water park. But I spent a lot of time in Greensboro growing up. I sure did.
Hey, Jeremy, thanks so much for time today. We appreciate this. Can't wait to see the show. So born in Greensboro, but grew up in Garner, outside of Raleigh. But yeah, worked at, he said Water Country USA, but Emerald Point, yeah, Wet and Wild.
That is really neat. And it's like hometown boy coming home.
Yep.
And if he has any family back here still, I mean, it would be great to be able to go out and see him. Obviously he's all over the country, but he's back in the Gate City.
He said they are coming from different parts of North Carolina here to see the show and to talk and to have dinner and hang out with him. Mm-hmm. Every one of these actors that I interview for at whatever show is at the Tanger, they all ask me the same thing. What do you think it is? If you're traveling all the time, what would you ask a local person?
Where to eat.
That's exactly right. That's the
food.
first question is tell us the restaurant
And
scene.
what did you say?
I'm not going to show my favoritism on air.
Okay.
I gave them about 4 choices.
Nice. Okay.
That's smart. I think this play or this musical is fantastic, and it makes it even better to know that a local guy or a statewide guy, I guess, is in it, and being able to tell the story about someone that influenced this play. Yesterday was really cool.
We should get them hooked up. Wouldn't that be cool to have him talk to her? That would while they're here. Be very good. I'll see this play this weekend. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good one. And I think a lot of things that people don't really know about. I mean, I feel like I knew everything about September 11th. And then when I first heard about this musical, I was surprised that there was another aspect that I hadn't heard of.
It's very cool. It's got good reviews so far, too. So we'll see. Stick around. We're coming back.
Technology helped us get through this pandemic, and nowadays there's an app for everything. There's even an app helping address the labor shortage and giving workers more options to fit their lifestyle.
So this is one of our most popular gifts.
At Lula's Garden in Los Angeles, 'tis the season for succulents. But CEO Laraz Birnbaum says getting holiday help during the pandemic worker shortage is a challenge.
Have you hired any people that haven't shown up and things like that, or?
Yeah, definitely.
So instead of placing a want ad, she orders Insta workers on an app.
And you have a worker show up the next morning.
Workers show up the next morning.
Do you have to send them a paycheck?
No, that's the best part. Once you put the credit card on the app, it's just charged automatically.
Every worker has a schedule, right, that meets their needs, and that schedule can change from week to week.
Samir Begani co-founded InstaWork in 2016.
We're economic opportunity at the touch of a button. A worker can create a profile, get to work within a day.
And when COVID hit last year, business took off.
The whole workforce changed how they work during the pandemic. They're not just looking for better jobs or higher pay, they're looking for more flexible work.
That appealed to Chester Lemon, who lost his job during the pandemic. Now he has a selection of shifts and pay.
Now I can comfortably say I am my own boss.
How's that feel?
It's a good feeling. Yeah.
One day he's working at a clothing designer warehouse, and the next he's working a concert.
I did BTS this past weekend.
And the best part for him, getting paid immediately. With more than 1.5 million workers in 25 U.S. cities, the company can also provide real-time economic insight. Just since April of this year, wages on the app are up an average of 20%.
We found that about half of our professionals aren't willing to work for less than $15 an hour.
Like most Insta workers, Chester Lemon is an independent contractor with no benefits or overtime.
Did you ever see yourself having a regular 9-to-5 job again at one place?
It's going to be hard right now because I've gotten so used to this now. When you know you can just make money tonight, tomorrow, anytime you feel like it.
For now, the job flexibility is priceless.
Wow.
So my wheels are turning because
Yeah.
I think about their future. If you do that for 10, 15 years, you're not building wealth. You're not, yes, you're your own boss. But when you get a lot older, you probably won't be able to retire unless you get some crazy windfall. But because that's a tough. It's good. I think the younger you are, the better that is. To have a flexible schedule and figure out what you want to do. That makes sense. But when someone's say 40 and up, they've got to start thinking about long term. So that can be kind of dangerous. Also, the healthcare implication. If you don't have insurance, and something bad happens to you, and if a lot of people are doing that in the long run, that could collapse the healthcare system. If you don't have any insurance, or you just can't get healthcare.
It sounds like a good idea, though. I mean, for someone who just, absolutely. I've noticed a lot of different businesses are kind of doing what they can to try to attract more customers. I saw an ad for McDonald's the other day that you are now able to sign up where you get paid every single day. So like you don't have to wait 2 weeks for a paycheck. And so, I mean, you could literally get paid tomorrow for the work that you're doing today. And I think for some people in certain jobs, in certain professions, it's good to get paid every day.
Yeah, I can definitely see the benefits to this though. Say you did just lose your job and you're needing something immediately, you need money. You can get on this app and just do some temporary jobs here and there until you find a solidified career, because I think like what you mentioned, if you don't have benefits, that can really hurt you.
Yeah.
So I think in the meantime, yes, I think it's a great job or a great idea, a great opportunity, but I don't think it should be forever.
Yeah, I think and maybe that's what it's designed for, is for people just to get some money coming in, and you can your schedule can be flexible. And what if you don't know what you want to do later on in life? And that's a great way for you to sample a lot of different things. So that part I can see, but be careful. You gotta work. Nothing's free.
Absolutely. We'll be right back. Have you ever felt like you were all alone and you had nothing to contribute to the world? Well, today on U Day, Coach Lamont reminds you that we all have something special that the world needs, and your part is what we all need.
A little wave was bobbing along in the ocean. He was enjoying the wind and the fresh air as it traveled until he noticed that all the other waves in front of him were crashing against the shore. Oh my God, this is terrible, the wave thought. Look at what is happening to all the other waves, and I'll have the same fate. As fear set in, and in a state of panic, another wave came across and asked the little wave, "Why are you so distressed?" The little wave said, "We are all going to crash against the shore and face our end. All of us waves. We're all going to die. Isn't it terrible?" The second wave answered with a smile, "No, you don't understand. You're not just a wave. You are a part of the ocean. There is no need to fear. You are not alone. You are a part of something greater." This is Coach Lamont reminding you to have your best U Day. I'll see you tomorrow.
Your local numbers.
Hey, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado.
Check it 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hello, hello.
Hey, I scrolled. Hold on.
Jeffrey, mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 17.
It's like 2 B's.
Yeah. Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever go together like a classic combination. Okay.
Good Tuesday afternoon to you. I am Chad Silver here with Stacy Spivey and Eric Chilton. I actually had to think in my head as I was saying Tuesday. It's Tuesday, right?
It is Tuesday.
It's that time of the year when all the days get screwed up.
I know, especially the week after Christmas is just always a blur.
Always.
I feel like most people are not working. It's kind of like, what day is it? What time is it?
Right.
I've been eating way too many cookies. We all know how that goes. Well, thanks for watching the 4 to 5 right here on News 2, Fire Stick, Roku, or the News 2 app. We do want to get to one of our top stories this afternoon. More college basketball teams are benched because of COVID-19 protocols impacting rosters. The Southern Conference announced Western Carolina and UNCG's game scheduled for tomorrow is postponed instead of forfeited.
And this is actually a play that we are seeing more lately from conferences as the virus spreads at a higher rate. WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey got reaction from UNC Greensboro and North Carolina A&T today, and how this year is different in somewhat different than last year for conferences.
Yeah, guys, before the start of the collegiate winter sports season, athletic conferences like the ACC, Big South, and Southern conferences all ruled that if a team had too many COVID-19 positives, they'd have to forfeit those conference games. Well, as a number of those forfeits started to pile up, conferences across the nation realized it's time to make a change.
Back in August, when all these conferences put the forfeit clause into place, what that really was to do was to get your student athletes vaccinated. You know, you didn't want to have something happen like in NC State with their baseball team going out of College World Series, weren't vaccinated and got kicked out when they had a shot to win the national championship.
UNCG Interim Athletic Director Kevin Bostian was one of the 10 Southern Conference agreements that unanimously decided the COVID-19 forfeit clause was doing more harm than good. And as cases continue to spike, the Spartans had to postpone their upcoming conference opener against Western Carolina due to positive cases in the Catamounts program, just a day after the conference voted to change the rule.
You want to be competitive. You want to make sure you follow the safety and health protocols for your student athletes to make sure you're not playing too many games in 1 week. But you just don't want to forfeit just to forfeit, because the kids want to play. They're not out here trying to get sick on their own.
However, the Spartans aren't the only team that's having to deal with this shift. The ACC and the Big South both also adopted this rule change. And A&T basketball coach Will Jones says this thing is bigger than just sports.
It's not an easy solution to it. It's great to be able to say, hey, if you got seven guys that can get out there and play, we're going to try to keep this thing moving. But I think for me, that's really the second piece of it. You know, the first piece of it is, how do we protect the players?
As of right now, most conferences are in wait-and-see mode just to figure out how this season will play out.
Boy, you got to feel for all of these teams. I mean, we saw just less than an hour ago that NC State had to, basically cancel the bowl game that they were in that starts in a couple of hours. I mean, think about being these players and coaches and staff members who've worked your entire careers. I know you're young, but still working your entire careers to get to this point, and then all of a sudden it's just kind of gone.
And then how does it affect your records? You know, you just see asterisks all over the history books for 2020 and 2021. It's just kind of strange. And even the fans, think about all those fans that are they're there, right? They paid the money, that some of them traveled long distances, and then now they don't.
NC State, they're all the way out in San Diego.
Yeah. I mean, it's really sad. I feel bad for the players, the coaches, the staff, everyone involved. But then again, you think about it, this is all about safety and keeping, like he said, those players safe. That's their top priority.
And it's very strange that just before the show started that we got this news about NC State, because I'm sure you guys remember in the summertime, they were in the College World Series on fire, a couple games from possibly winning a national championship, and due to COVID protocols and too many positive tests in their program, they actually were eliminated from the chance of winning the national championship. So I was told that those were examples like that was a reason why these protocols were put in before the season and costing these teams the forfeits. But now it's just, conference games are too costly and they mean too much to the kids and to the programs to be just forfeited away without an actual winner, you know?
Eric Chilton and I were talking the other day about, imagine if it happens, all of a sudden you get an email that Duke Carolina is canceled. Obviously they have 2 games this year. They always play at Carolina and at Duke. But imagine getting the alert that, that game's canceled. There is no game bigger than that one, right?
Not in this region, and I really feel like, let's be honest, that's a possibility. We don't know what's going to happen right now with these numbers skyrocketing. Chad, what did you say our percentage positive was, 21 point something?
Yeah, the highest that we have ever seen ever. We were talking at the beginning of January of this last year, so just about a year ago, some of the percent positives in 15, 16, 17%. 17 was the highest that we have ever got, even at the peak of the highest peak that we've seen, the Mount Everest. And now today, we've got one higher. So it's crazy.
Mandy Cohen may have made the right decision to get out at the right time.
Get out now, yeah.
Right.
It's just a stressful,
very much
disappointing time for a lot of people. And, basketball, football, they're not the only sports that have been affected by this. Hockey, though, is back starting today after the NHL paused games for several days, hoping to contain the spread of COVID. NHL Commissioner Bill Daley said the league will review COVID protocols after the CDC changed its quarantine guidelines yesterday. The league has dealt with a rise in cases across 32 teams and dozens of players entering virus protocol Monday.
Meantime, the NBA changed its protocols after the CDC's quarantine guidance. The biggest change, asymptomatic players who test positive only need to isolate for 6 days compared to the original 10. Now, as of last night, nearly 120 players were under COVID protocols. Teams hit hard by cases have had to sign other players to 10-day deals.
Wow. The Miami Dolphins have made history, though, by becoming the first team in the NFL to win 7 straight games after a 7-game losing streak. Monday night's victory in New Orleans secured the historic win. The last time the Dolphins won 7 games in a row was actually back in 1985. The Dolphins are now the number 7 seed in the AFC, which happens to be the final wild card spot. Miami will also likely have to win their last 2 games against Tennessee Titans and New England Patriots to make the playoffs.
It's just incredible the ride that they're on right now. I mean, to lose every game at the beginning of the season, then to turn it around exactly 180 degrees.
They were 1-7 at one point. Now they're 8-7, and they just keep finding. But their defense is incredible. That's like the talk. Plus, you talk about making history. That's the only team in the NFL to ever have an undefeated season at 14-0 in like 1972. So. Yeah, they're making history, even though it's several decades apart.
Right, and unfortunately, the Carolina Panthers are on the opposite side of that, right? They won the first 3 games, and then it's just been downhill ever since.
Yeah, no, we don't have to talk about that part, do we?
That's true.
No,
all right.
we can just say
Only
it's
the
okay.
good news today, right?
Yeah.
We'll move right along here. All right, so it is easy to pull for a team when they're on a losing streak rather. But then when they start a winning streak, but when they get on a losing streak, it's kind of a different game. But not for diehard fans. So I asked you on Facebook, what team do you pull for? You don't care if they're winning or losing. Here's what you had to say. Some good comments here. Debbie said, North Carolina Tar Heels, always and forever. She says, Wilbert says Pittsburgh Steelers and the Tar Heels, no matter what they are, that's who I ride with. I was a fan of Franco Harris and Mean Joe Green as a kid in Carolina because my grandma loved the Heels. Donna Shelton said the Granite Bears. By the way, she's talking about Mount Airy, in case you don't know, that's the high school there. That's my high school. Tim Carter said Cowboys ever since Roger Staubach in the 70s. Melissa says the Tennessee Volunteer basketball and football and women's basketball. That's her hometown state. Rick Hauser, I love this. I can identify because my wife is this. He said, I'm a Western New York kid, so I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. I've seen 6 Super Bowl losses. 4 in Buffalo, 2 in Carolina. Maybe it's just me. That is not just you, because all the Bills fans say the same thing.
See, I guess I thought that your question meant which team do you root for really stinks?
Oh, no, it's just regardless of how horrible you never, because bandwagon fans are easy, right? They hop on and off here and there.
Yeah, the fair weather fans.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So for me, the team that I'm going off of what I thought you meant. So the team that I root for that always stinks are the Jacksonville Jaguars. I went to school in Jacksonville and just kind of picked them up while I was there for a few years. And they're really bad. They're really bad, but it's fun to be on that team's fan base.
The good thing about that is if you start winning, nobody hates a team that's always losing. You know what I mean? Like there's not the big rivalry. They'll be like, "Come on, Jags!" Like you get people to pull for them.
Yep. And then with the NFL, I mean, you get a better draft pick the next.
That's
season.
exactly right. Yeah, that's right. Well, for me, it was the Tar Heels. Of course, I pull for them no matter what. But I'm also like that with the Panthers. What's hard for me is that my 2 favorite NFL teams are in the same division. So I'm a Buccaneers and a Panthers fan. Mm-hmm. So then when they play each other, sometimes I don't even want to watch because it's like one of my teams has to lose.
Well, growing up, and even to this day, my whole family were big Cubs fans. So until they won, of course, the World Series, I think, what was that, 2013, I think?
It was like cursed before that.
Oh, yeah, but we still were all like big fans. So I guess it would be that team.
Good.
And then we like the Cowboys, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But
this year's good.
Yeah, it's true.
If you're a Cowboys fan.
But I'm always I care more about the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders than anything. So.
Than the team?
Yeah.
I bet you like that show.
I do like that show.
Is it still on?
It is, DCC.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, from the pros to high school now. This is a big weekend in our area. Another exciting day in the 45th annual HeyCoIsHiring.com Invitational. It's out at the Greensboro Coliseum for the next few days. Semifinal action takes center stage today with the girls' top seed Northwest Guilford and Page. They are up first. Then it's Southeast Guilford and Ragsdale. The boys' semis tip off at 6 p.m. with Smith and Greensboro Day, followed by Page and Grimsley. We are the official media sponsor of the tournament. You can see matchups, scores, and highlights from all of the games on WFMYnews2.com.
You know, temperature is not all that bad today, and this warmth will continue for a while. It looks like we're kind of hovering in those upper 60s to close to 70 degrees for the next several days. Actually, tomorrow, 72, way above our normal of around 50 degrees. I mean, think about that, 22 degrees above normal. We're entering into possible record temperatures when you get that much above normal. But 67 right now in the Triad. Current reading there, Charlotte's at 70, Raleigh at 69. It is actually a pretty decent, from a temperature standpoint, we're in good shape. Tomorrow, even warmer. And then we'll kind of hover around 69 degrees for 2 or 3 days in a row. The bad news is that we see some clouds start to build in, and then tomorrow afternoon we have a rain chance. You can see heading into the overnight, yeah, we're pretty consistent, right? 64, 65 degrees. That's about it. Radar not showing anything yet, but it is on the way. Again, tomorrow afternoon is when we think we'll see this. And lots of instability. This is a result of actually a couple of systems. So one will skirt by to the north, and even though the front behind it kind of fizzles out a little bit as we head into your Thursday, there's a second system just close enough to bring an additional rain chance or two. So here's what those percentages look like. 30% tomorrow afternoon. It's a 50% chance on Thursday, and then a 30% Friday. All day, those 3 days really, upper 60s to low 70s. Keep that into Saturday with a 50-50 shot of rain. Same story Sunday, but cooler at 62. Here's your shock, the slap in the face next week. Monday, Tuesday, sunshine, highs around the freezing mark, or excuse me, lows around the freezing mark, highs in the mid to upper 40s.
All right, all I can think of when I see this is, oh my goodness, please don't let 2021 buffer. Right? Make 2022 fully load. We want the glitches of 2020 and 2021 to go away. Am I right?
Well, see, I don't know. The last time that I wished away a year, it was 2020, and 2021 was no better. So I'm kind of nervous about wishing for 2022.
Just hold on to what you got.
Well, I keep seeing all these memes and GIFs. I don't know if you've seen them, but they're like 2022 is like 2020. But then the
T-O-O.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, so with that said, what are we looking forward to doing in 2022? Maybe that's a better question.
Let's see.
Anything other than 2020.
All right, let's go this way. How about this, friends? New Year's resolutions. They can be part of what you're looking forward to. For sure, maybe eating better, maybe getting more sleep, maybe spending time with family, maybe giving back to others, maybe going somewhere. Any of these ring true?
I'm going to do less social distancing in 2022, I've decided.
Less social distancing.
Yep, I did a whole lot of it this year, and I'm sick of it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Very solid in that answer. I'm looking forward to seeing my family, going to visit them. A lot of my friends have not met Baylor yet, so that will be exciting, but I'm also going to be very COVID conscious.
Sure.
Because of the numbers that Chad gave us earlier.
Right. Any resolutions going on? Do you guys do resolutions?
You know, I usually don't, but I already started, you know, trying to get in better shape and exercise a little bit, which I usually don't do. So for the past 3 months, I've been doing that. I guess my resolution is to keep on and not drop it, you know.
Right. Okay, well, health or exercise and money, almost always one of the top 10 resolutions that we see. 3 in 4 Americans say their New Year's resolution is to be smarter with their finances. A survey from Slick Deals found many are worried about rising inflation and they intend to save more next year, putting an average of $408 a month away. That's up $80 compared to last year. But other plans include just paying off debt, cutting unnecessary bills, using coupons, that kind of thing. So here's my question. Why do we even make resolutions in the first place?
Because we want to be better?
Yeah.
It's like a fresh start, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was like the beginning of a new year, so beginning of something new in your life.
All right, and where did all that come from? History has it the Romans would make resolutions. Most of them were of a moral nature, as in like be kind to others and such. So not exercise or not money, but a moral thing.
The Roman calendar started the year in March, but when Julius Caesar came into power, he wanted the year to begin in January. So in 45 BC, he made the year stretch 445 days so that the new year would begin January 1st. Now, why January? What's the deal? Well, January is named after the Roman god Janus, a two-faced god that looked forward and back. Janus is the Roman god of beginnings, of gates, and of transitions.
All right, so we're back to this, the resolutions, the goals, the looking back, the looking forward.
I like that. That's really interesting. I did not know that.
I had never heard that. You think you hear everything when you work in television.
I know, right? And then one of us goes down a rabbit hole and poof, we know some new things, right? All right, all we can say, friends, is Happy New Year in advance.
We all know that the pandemic affected a lot of companies and entities, but the arts really had a real battle on their hands over the last couple of years. So I spoke with High Point Theater director Courtney Lowe to get a state of the union on our community theater system. Take a look. Courtney, goodness knows every industry's been through it over the last year and a half to 2 years. So let's talk about the kind of the state of the union for community theaters. What were the challenges and how are you coming out of this? I always think about this like, how do you do rehearsals and how do you do performances when you have to deal with COVID?
Right, so it is a totally different environment for community theaters now. We are naturally a very close group, so we tend to gather a lot, we tend to hug a lot, we tend to, our blocking brings us close together. So we've had to do a lot of changes in those type of environments, and that we're, adjusting blocking, we're adjusting some of our choreography. We are wearing masks in rehearsal, which is a totally new concept for us.
I know that everyone had to make, all these changes. Do you see any differences now that audiences are starting to come back? Are they more hesitant? Are they more eager? What are you seeing?
Christmas Carol was probably some of the highest attendance numbers that we've seen in the last 7 years that we've done the show. People were thrilled to be back. And people are just searching, I think, for some sense of normalcy, and Christmas Carol is a tradition for a lot of families in the Triad.
What do you think the future holds? I mean, how do you think we'll ease out of this from an art standpoint?
I think we have all just pivoted. It's a word that I use a lot whenever we're in our board meetings. We've just had to do a lot of pivoting. And I believe that the arts community will just continue to pivot as long as we have to. But I believe that for the arts community, we're probably going to be making more changes in the long term than we had thought. I think originally we thought these are short-term solutions, but I think we are making changes.
Courtney, thanks for taking time with us today. Keep the arts alive. This is a great thing. Mild weather stays with us for several days, actually. In fact, the range of high temperatures is basically from about 69 to 72 for about 4 days straight. Yeah, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Temperatures right now 67 in Greensboro, 66 in High Point. Asheboro, you're at 68. Walnut Cove and Mount area, even 67 there, and then 70 in Martinsville. Overall, across the area, again, that mild weather is not going anywhere anytime soon. Here's part of the reason. Look at the wind flow. It's all coming in out of the southwest. 9 to 13 miles per hour is not that bad. A little breeze, but not really windy. However, that will change. And as long as we have that southwesterly flow, you're going to see that milder air sticking around for a while. So for tonight, a low of 59, partly cloudy. Clouds will build tomorrow, but a warm high at 72. In fact, the warmest for the week, as a matter of fact. Late day shower tomorrow, 30% chance. We'll hold between a 30 and 50% all the way through the weekend, and highs between 69 and 72 until Sunday. We go to 62. Much cooler next week. Mostly sunny, lows around the freezing mark, highs between 46 and 47.
Hey, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Check, check, check. Mic check.
Mic check 1, 2, 3. Mic check 1, 2, 3. Mic check 1, 2, 3.
Somewhere else. Hi there, Alabama. I'm kind of out of range. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado.
Hey, we are getting ready to talk about all things coronavirus. Seems like it's back in the news.
Hello, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever go together.
Hey, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
And then I'm going to go over there.
Okay. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 here in downtown Greensboro, full of small.
It's time for my 2 cents. Just when I thought last Christmas couldn't be topped,
Loves the tissue paper.
I soon found this one was the merriest yet. My daughter Baylor's first Christmas. My first Christmas as a mom. Our first Christmas as a family of 4. Of course, Wrigley was included. We started the day with matching pajamas, a family breakfast, and then presents. We then hit the road to Roanoke to spend the rest of the day with family. Even though we were all spoiled with new toys, clothes, and goodies, I think spending Christmas Day together was the most special gift. We're grateful for our health as hundreds of people were unable to be with their loved ones for the holiday due to the pandemic, and hopeful for the future with a foundation in our faith. Even as we head into another uncertain season with COVID-19 and the constant change it brings, we can look back on this Christmas season and be merry for all the bright times we had together. That's just my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now. Millions of people are rushing to get tested for COVID. Testing center lines remain long and the supply of at-home tests scarce. Why doctors say you should get one now.
And with the CDC updating its isolation guidelines, masking up is really important, but you'll want to make sure your mask is actually protecting you.
Panthers head coach Matt Rule sends the team home after a COVID outbreak in the locker room. We get an update on their status and who might be available on Sunday.
But first tonight, the season is over for the NC State Wolfpack.
A COVID outbreak has canceled their bowl game just